Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series, where I rank every episode from the original Twilight Zone, from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 116 of Late I Think of Cliffordville, written by Rod Serling, based on a story by Malcolm Jameson, and this episode was directed by David Lowell Rich. This is a season 4 hour-long episode, and as always there will be spoilers. And I just want to say to start out with that of Late I Think of Cliffordville was one of the hardest episodes for me to rank of the entire series because, in my opinion, it's very uneven. There's parts of it that are really great and parts of it which I don't care for at all. So this one's about a man named William Feathersmith, and he's kind of a ruthless businessman, and he decides he wants to return to the past, to his home of Cliffordville, and eventually he gets help from a mysterious travel agency, and he gets to do just that. So Albert Salmi is the lead in this episode, and he gives a very strange performance. He makes a lot of weird expressions throughout the episode. It mostly works because he is kind of interesting to watch, but it's quite bizarre. Julie Newmar is great in this episode as the head of the agency. Miss Devlin and all the scenes with her are highlights of the episode, in my opinion. Also, John Anderson, who was in many Twilight Zone episodes, has a supporting role here, and he's fine as he usually is. So I'll kind of go through this episode and give my thoughts on why it kind of goes up and down for me. So it starts with this head of a company, William, and like I said, he's not the nicest person, and he eventually starts talking with a janitor about wanting to go back home to Cliffordville. The janitor says he's from the same place. Now, some of this is very interesting, and it is important to the end of the episode, but these scenes just go on forever. This beginning was way too long, in my opinion, and you could definitely tell that they filled it out for the hour time slot. So then Feathersmith meets this woman, Miss Devlin, and they strike a bargain to let him go back home. Feathersmith thinks this will be in his favor because he knows everything that's going to happen, so he'll be able to use it to his advantage. And this part of the episode's really, really good. Suddenly, things pick up. There's an energy that wasn't there before, and I'm very interested in what's happening. But then when we actually get to Cliffordville, the episode starts to drag again. This guy predictably fails at stuff that he thought he would know because he remembered it differently. And then there's this really, really bad scene, arguably one of the worst Twilight Zone scenes in any episode, where he meets up with this girl he remembered, and she's playing the piano, and she's not how he remembered. And it's just not really very good at all. I'm not sure what they were going for here, but it doesn't work for me. So eventually, because things aren't working out for him, they seem to be getting worse and worse. Feathersmith wants to go back home. So Miss Devlin reappears, and then the episode gets good again. It feels like when this character appears, there's just a different mood and tone to the episode that's much, much better. So eventually he's getting ready to leave, and he sells like his remaining property to the janitor from the beginning, who's also in this era of Cliffordville, which changes things when William gets back, which was kind of ahead of its time, and one of the good things about the episode, about how now the present has changed. So now things are different, and Hecate, the janitor, is the ruthless businessman, and Feathersmith is the janitor. And this last scene is really, really good, and like I said, it really works, and I thought was very clever. So, like I said, this episode's a mixed bag for me. It's kind of up and down. It starts where I don't care for it, then I love it, then I don't care for it again, then there's another great scene, and I really like the ending, which did help elevate this one a little bit. So that's why this episode's at 116. It was really hard to place of late, I think, of Cliffordville, but that's where it landed for me. So as always, feel free to leave a comment on this episode. I know this one's kind of gets a mixed reception in the Twilight Zone community as well, so I'd be curious to hear anyone's thoughts on the episode. As always, thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.